Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be diving into some of the community's favorite cryptos that they've asked that I actually cover in some analysis. I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to actually show me some of your favorite cryptos, some that you are wondering what the technical analysis actually looks up. And today we're going to be diving into my favorite ones that you guys actually told me to look at, give you guys some updated analysis into your favorite picks so you guys know exactly where these things are headed, what to look for long term, and how much profit is about to be made in your portfolio. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 20,000 members and growing. If you guys want to join the rest of my community to share your own thoughts on the market, there's going to be a link in the description of this video for you guys to go ahead and sign up. On top of that, if you guys want some extra educational content on how to actually make sounder decisions inside the market, I also have a free ebook and beginner's guide to crypto that's going to help you guys out tremendously. So check it out. Links are provided for you in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now before we jump into anything too crazy, I just wanted to sum up a little bit of my last analysis that I had yesterday. Now, as you guys know, we've recently got an even further little bit of a dip. We're getting continuation on the shorter time frames. Now, we did actually manage to get this little bit of a bounce in here. And so we're going to be watching and seeing, but as it stands right now, we're still below resistance. So if this continues to close bearish, then we would expect one more low. And that one low is going to be taking us anywhere from 42 down to about 40K. That's where I'm going to be personally watching for. If we could get a dip down that low, that's going to be a great opportunity to buy. This to me just looks like it's going to get bearish continuation as we come back down. No reason to get too excited right now. You know, we are seeing a little bit of a bounce after that initial dip, but I still think we need to get a little bit lower before we are ultimately going to get more bullish continuation. A retest of the previous high is going to be the greatest opportunity to get in. You always want a long support. You know, we did just tag this resistance, which generally, you know, you don't want to be buying at resistance. It's much more profitable to just long support. And so I think we're going to get a little bit more of a dip. Be prepared for that, a little bit more volatility in the markets. But nonetheless, I still think that this is going to be providing a great opportunity for continuation as we go back upwards of 60K. Now, let's dive into the cryptos on today's list, talk about some of my favorites, really specifically what you guys told me to look at. I made a tweet today. Said I didn't know what to make my video about, so I figured that there would be a good opportunity to ask you guys what your favorite picks were. So I went through, picked the ones that I liked the most based off of a technical perspective, and we're going to be diving in here and taking a look at those. And so the first one on the list today is actually going to be Alliance Block, one I've recently covered in prior videos. Now, I really like this project from a fundamental use case. These guys are doing some exceptional things. On top of that, they have some of the greatest minds inside of the common space of, you know, just economic status in general. You know, we have a lot of people inside of government, a lot of people inside of banks, a lot of people inside of corporations, and all of these different places that are actually working on this project. And so they have over 70 different members. And now that they're actually coming onto Alliance Block, I fully expect that these guys are going to do well. Now, from a technical perspective, this itself is just a one wave. This is one of the more undervalued cycles that you can find. We've only finished wave one, and now we're getting ready for wave three. Now, we see all of this new volume coming in here. In my opinion, where we're at on the shorter time frames, we finished wave one, this is wave three, and wave five is going to be taking us upwards of this all-time high. And I think that we will, you know, we could possibly break that all-time high. It's hard to say. My guess is we'll hit this all-time high, and then we'll have a little bit of a pullback. And then that's what's going to take us into new all-time highs into wave 3 of 3. So this is one that's still really undervalued in the scheme of things. It just broke out of this bull flag. And so if it was me personally, I'd be waiting for a little bit of a deeper correction. But at the end of the day, guys, we don't necessarily know how big this impulse is going to get. Wave 5 can overextend. We could see this thing break the all-time highs. We don't really know exactly because it is wave 3 of 3, and because it is wave 3, and inside of wave 3s, oftentimes they get very impulsive. And so for me personally, I think you're better off waiting. Don't need to FOMO buy right now. You know, we are venturing closer and closer to resistance. I think that we'll come up here, tag resistance, and then we'll get a deeper pullback that will give a good opportunity for people to actually buy back into this. Regardless, if you're looking to hold long term, You know, long term for me is always end of year. I'm going to be out of the crypto markets. I don't care how good the fundamentals are. I don't care how much hype is around a project, you know, what new advancements they make. None of that matters when the bear market ends, because they are all going to crash and fall hard. And so I want to be out of the markets. This is one that I'm really going to be targeting even in the next cycle. I think that these guys are very legit, one of my favorite long-term holds. And so for me, I'm personally just going to be looking to hold what I have a long time, all the way down here at 8 cents. And then again, I doubled my position at 23 cents. Just looking to hold what I have. Really like this one long term, and I think you guys should be keeping this one on your radar. Now, next up on the list is going to be Terra Luna. This one has been really outperforming in the majority of the market. We made a new all-time high. It's showing zero signs of slowing down. Lots of new volume coming in here. This is one that I've actually made, and it was one of my best returning cryptos inside of this cycle. I managed to accumulate this and post some signals in my Discord all the way back here at about 30 cents. And it really ripped hard after that signal. You know, we ended up waiting a couple months before it took off, but you know, it went about 40x, I think is when we took profit. So about right there. Pretty close to the top, didn't know the exact top, but we made really great gains off of this one, and I'm still holding a pretty decent sized bag. You know, I only took probably half my profits. I'm still just gonna hold this one because where it stands right now, this to me just looks like wave 1, wave 3, and now we're working on wave 5, which we don't really know exactly how parabolic wave 5 is going to get. My guess is we could definitely see this at about $100. And so that's really where I'm going to be looking. I still think we have a little bit more upside to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a little bit of a pullback back to the all-time highs before going up and getting more continuation. But at the same time, this is wave 5. Oftentimes these just get very overextended, and we don't necessarily need to be targeting some pullback. If it was me, I wouldn't be buying this. You know, it's really taken off a lot. The time to be buying was in the dip or all the way back down here at the lows. I'm personally going to be looking to scale out of my bags once we actually venture a little bit closer to 50 bucks. That's personally where I'm going to be watching. But this is still one that's outperforming the majority of the market. It's been performing exceptionally well since we bottomed. And I think that this is one that if you're holding, you should be looking to get out of this very soon. I still think we got some more upside potential left, but you know, this is one that has already completed wave 1, wave 3, and we're working on wave 5. And so my guess, we would see some type of a much bigger correction. I think that you guys should probably look to get out of this market, and if it was me, I wouldn't be buying this anytime right now. Alrighty guys, now a lot of people have been asking me for an update on Ecofy. I figured now was a great opportunity to cover this. Now with Ecofy guys, there's been a load of new supporters that have jumped on board, a lot of big influencers with over 50,000 Twitter followers. There's been about 5 to 8 different ones that I can think of off the top of my head that have jumped on. People that I've actually watched, people that I've actually got different picks for altcoins from. And so to see these guys, you know, coming on board with Ecofy, and might I add, these guys aren't even paid or anything. They're not just some shill that's coming in here getting paid by Ecofy to come and talk about this. These guys genuinely find value inside of this project. And so because there's so many new influencers jumping on board, you guys got to keep in mind that like 600K of the total circulating supply of tokens is actually locked up in staking. So there's a very large majority of the overall token and supply that is actually locked up in staking, meaning there's no sell side pressure right now. And with the NFT space being so hyped, that's exactly why we're seeing Terra Luna, you know, really take off, is because this is structured around NFTs. They've actually gathered a lot of that NFT hype for themselves. And now, in my opinion, we're starting to see some of the other lower caps take off as well. We have a significant amount of volume that came in at the breakout. We flipped this downtrend, we broke out, made a higher high, and now we're getting further continuation from here. You know, this is going to be a little choppy all throughout this period, but ultimately I do think that we're going to be breaking up and hitting close to these all-time highs. $13 is going to be the next target. That's just the next likely resistance, but I fully expect that this thing is going to be hitting $30 to $50 plus very soon. There's too much hype around NFTs. Ecofy is one of the leaders in all of this. One of the big bits that I like to give people that don't really know a lot about Ecofy, it's literally fractionalizing NFT ownership. And right now they're sticking with the fine arts. You know, you guys can own Henry Matisse, you guys can own Pablo Picasso's, you guys can own Andy Warhol's, some of these great artists inside of the conventional world. You guys can actually own fractions of their art, or if you buy all 100 fractions, you'll actually get shipped the real physical art piece. And so this is something that's really cool. What Ecofy plans on doing long term is even branching outside of just art, going into every other thing to do with NFTs, because there's so much value with NFTs. I mean, think of personal ownership, whether you have a title on a car, whether you have any sort of important documentation that needs to prove ownership of something. Well, NFTs are going to be a way to actually back that to the blockchain, and that's why I'm so bullish on Ecofy. It's not just fine art. arts. It's not just what they're doing with fractionalizing art. It's literally a hub for all NFTs in general. And you guys are actually going to be able to stake Eco, earn Sprout, which then you can buy NFTs on their marketplace. And so once this thing really grows into what we believe it will be, this thing is going to be one of the most undervalued projects, and it's currently sitting at less than $8 million in market cap. This is one that has a lot of technical bullishness with the break of the descending with the break of descending resistance, double bottom formation break, and we're literally just sitting at the move, about to go to new all-time highs. With this amount of volume, with the hype around NFTs, I don't think you can go wrong with Ecofy, so you guys should definitely check that out as well. Now, another one on the list is Constellation. Constellation is one that I actually bought down here at the lows. Average entry price was down here at about 1 cent, a little bit over of 1 cent. And I've been able to make a very solid return off of this one. I really like the technical setup. From where I bought, I'm sitting at a little over 20x returns. But I liked this setup all the way back down in here because this was just your classic example of a one wave. And this is why I always tell people, you should target the one wave. Wherever you buy in the one wave, it generally doesn't matter. Obviously, you want to accumulate at the lows, but I bought some that were up here a little bit higher. Like I said, my average entry is this green line, so it's not like I bought the exact lows, but nonetheless, it didn't matter because I'm up, 20x plus. And so these are the types of things that I'm talking about when I say always you want to target the one wave. This little one wave move. We can see the impulse happened, went sideways for a while, and then once wave 3 kicks in, it literally just goes vertical. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And so a lot of people have been asking me, where is it standing right now? Are we going to be looking to target more upside? And to be quite honest, guys, I started selling all the way over to here. Actually, where did I start selling? It was at 20 cents is when I started selling. I've already sold about half of my Constellation. It's kept going up, which is great. I still have half my bag. But regardless, guys, this is one that's getting very overextended, kind of in the same situation as Terra Luna, where you don't want to be buying right now by any means. Based off of the Elliott waves, I see a couple different counts. I see this is an obvious one wave. Now, we could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is wave 5, or we could be 1, 2, and then we're getting ready to finish wave 3. We'll get a 4-wave correction, and then we'll still get another 5-wave. As it stands right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the potential that this is just going to be the top of wave 3, and so we're going to delete this one. What I kind of see it being is 1, 2. We're working on wave 3. Inside of wave 3, we finish wave 1. We finish wave 3 of 3. And now we're working on wave 5 of 3. This to me just looks like a final 5, whether it's the top of wave 3 or whether it's the top of wave 5, I'm not sure. Because we still have a few months left in this bull cycle, because Bitcoin hasn't even made another new all-time high, I personally believe that this is just going to be the top of wave 3. We'll get a correction in here at some point. I'm not saying that we can't get even more overextended, because we definitely can. But regardless, guys, I've started taking quite a decent amount of my profits. I've sold enough at this point that I'm just going to hold what I have. I think that we're going to get a top of the 3-wave. We'll get a big correction. I don't know where that's going to take us, but after that, I do expect that we'll get another final move to close out the end of this bull cycle for Constellation. But this is one I really like. I've been proven right with my buying all the way back down in here in the lows. Sold half my bag, looking to just hold the rest until the end of the year. And this is one that I personally would not be buying right now. Wait for a correction, because I do believe that we're going to get one. Because as it stands, guys, we have some major bullish or bearish divergence, I should say. Right here, we failed to make a higher high all the way back down here, this initial breakout of 10 cents. And now we're getting another lower high here inside of wave 3 to wave 5. And so I think that this is going to end up coming down really quickly, really hard. No need to buy right now. Don't get too excited. No need to FOMO buy the top. We will get a correction, and that will be the opportunity to jump back in. Now, here is one that I actually bought not very much of. I bought this way down in here in the lows. And did I hold it? No, I didn't. So I actually missed out on this one. I bought Telcoin all the way over here at about 0.005 cents approximately. And I ended up selling this one some point around here. I don't even remember exactly where. I only had $50 in it at the time of when I actually bought this. It was on some random crappy exchange. I just noticed that I have a little bit of money. For whatever reason, the exchange didn't even have enough liquidity for me to sell the $50 that I had. So I just put it into something and forgot about it. It happened to be Telcoin that I put it into. Now, I really wish I would have held, because even that $50 would have turned into quite a substantial amount of money. I mean, what it peaked at. It peaked at, 100x approximately. Yeah, about exactly 100x. And so, off of that $50, I still would have made a lot of money. It's fine stuff happens all the time, but regardless, I know that there's a lot of people that have held, and so shout out to you guys that have held throughout this period. You know, this thing has performed exceptionally well. Now, I have to go to a log chart to even see what the heck is happening on this, but what basically I see is we have retested the previous all-time high. I expect that this is going to get further continuation. We might get a little bit of a dip in here where we're at right now, but I still expect that this is going to be a higher high from the previous retest, and then we're going to get another wave 5 impulse, because where it looks like to me, this was wave 1, this was wave 3, and we're going to be getting wave 5 coming in here before we ultimately end this bull cycle. And so this is where I'm going to be looking to take some profits. Well, I don't hold it, but if I was holding it, I'd be looking to take profits end of year as always. I still think that this one is going to get a lot more continuation. It's performed exceptionally well, which tells me there's obviously a lot of hype and demand around this project. Couldn't tell you what it is. Something to do with telecommunications. That's about all I know. Like I said, guys, I don't even hold this anymore, but shout out to the people that did, because this thing has really boomed quite hard. Next up on the list is going to be XFIN network, and this is one that unfortunately I hold, but I forgot my key, so it's just lost forever. I would be up about 30x off of this one because I managed to accumulate this one all the way back down here. And so I'm pretty sad about it. I've tried to find my keys. You know, I thought that I had them saved on my laptop. I did not. And so, you know, I've just pretty much lost out on this opportunity. Can't imagine how much money it is now. I mean, probably 100K approximately, and I didn't put that much into it at the bottom, but it's up 30x, and so you didn't really need to put that much into it. And so this is one that I'm personally going to be missing out on, even though I did manage to buy this at the lows. Performing very, very well. I know that these guys seem to be correlated with XRP to some extent. I don't know exactly why. Like I said, guys, I don't follow the fundamentals hardly at all. If I hear something really, really good, a lot of partnerships, a lot of collaborations, then yeah, you know, that's interesting to me. What it necessarily does is kind of second nature, because at the end of the day, I still don't think that any of these cryptos are really going to be anything worthwhile in the grand scheme of things. Once the bear market hits, they're all going to crash 80 to 90%. It doesn't matter how good your fundamentals are. You know, even the greatest cryptos crash 80 to 90%. Even ETH in the last cycle, with as good as what ETH is right now, it went down 94%. And so the idea that just because there's great utility, just because there's lots of smart people working on it, that it's going to avoid the bear market is just funny. It's not going to happen. It's going to crash. All of these are going to crash. And so when it comes to fundamentals, I care enough to buy the lows, find something interesting that I like, accumulate at the lows. But when the markets take off, a lot of this stuff has to do mainly with marketing. A lot of it has to do with timely partnerships, more so than it actually does with strong fundamentals. And, you know, I still believe fundamentals are equally as important as what a chart will tell you. I think fundamentals are more important than what a chart will tell you, because there's only so much info you can get off of a price chart. When it comes down to understanding what a crypto does, understanding, you know, how much money and network effect this thing can actually have, that, in my opinion, is much more important. And so when it comes down to it though, guys, you know, I've accumulated a number of different cryptos. Some of them have far surpassed all expectations. Some of them have lagged. It doesn't matter, but this is one that started to take off a lot. And if I have to come out here and draw some Elliott waves, this to me looks like somewhere in wave 3. This was wave 1. This is wave 1 of 3. This is wave 3 of 3. And I believe that we're working on wave 5 of 3. Somewhere around 40 cents approximately, maybe even down here at 20 to 50 cents approximately is where I would expect some type of top. Come back down, and then we're going to still expect to get a wave 5 before this cycle's over. This to me just looks like, you know, nearing the completion of wave 3. I think that we're only going to get one more move up before wave 3 is done. We'll get a 4-wave correction, and then we're going to get up here into wave 5 of 5. This is personally what I'm going to be watching out for. You know, this is just what I think is going to be likely to happen. Regardless, guys, this is one that's performing exceptionally well. If you're trying to buy this right now, I personally wouldn't. I think it's a little bit more overextended than I would personally be buying, but nonetheless, I still think there's going to be a little bit more upside potential still to go. So that's XFIN network. Now, last up on the list today is going to be HBAR. HBAR to me looks very solid from a technical perspective. I still think this is fairly undervalued in the grand scheme of things. As it stands, this to me just looks like wave 1, wave 3, and we're going to be getting wave 5 here to close out the end of this run. We've only made one higher high so far from the range lows that we saw here, and we're actually getting a dip. And so in my opinion, this isn't a bad time to enter. We could go a little bit lower, maybe down here at about 20 cents, but regardless, guys, it doesn't necessarily matter because where we're going to be long term is far surpassing these all-time highs. We could get a very extended 5 wave, or we could get a 5 wave that's conventional to wave 1 or wave 3. We don't really know exactly, but this is one that I liked from a fundamental case. They have partnerships with Google, Boeing, who else was it? Deutsche Bank, and then there was another one that I can't remember. IBM, I think is the other one. So they have a lot of very reputable partnerships, a lot of people building on this. I've heard some people throw out that it does more transactions than Ethereum and Bitcoin. I personally don't know where they're getting that data from. If you guys have that data, please share it in the comments of my last tweet, because I don't believe you. No offense. I'm bullish on HBAR. Been holding this one all the way back down in here. But when it comes to saying, oh, this thing does more transactions than all of those, I mean, where? Because I never hear about HBAR, but I always hear about ETH. I mean, there's no NFTs on HBAR, so how realistic is that assumption? Anyways, guys, I still think that this one's going to perform very well. This is the very beginning of a reversal. We've reversed, now we're selling off. Good opportunity to get in. It's always when you get some of those pullbacks after a breakout of the lows. I think that this is one that you guys should definitely be watching out for, because it's one that I've personally been holding for a long time, expecting a lot more new all-time highs to come. So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. If you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. On top of that, if you guys would like to join the Discord server, or if you guys would actually like to sign up and download my ebook, links are going to be provided for you in the description for that. Now, for the people that want to follow all the trades that I take, see every trade that I take over this cycle, how I'm taking my profits, on top of that, getting access to all of my insider scoop on NFTs, everything that I do with my money, I post inside of my Discord server. And so if you guys want to actually join, sign up for that, follow what I'm doing. Mainly, guys, at the end of the cycle, we're going to get a lot of great signals in there, but at this point, what you guys should look for towards my group is how to take profits, because that's going to be the big focus on the next 4 months, is how I'm going to be selling out, what I'm doing with those profits, what other markets I'm going to be reinvesting in, what stocks I like, and all of those good things. And so if you guys would like that, links are going to be provided for you in the description. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you guys so much for the support. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.